So we just left a little waterside park in Oromocto, or no, in Gagetown, pardon me. And we're just going down kind of Water Street, Gagetown. Nice little spot with all that access to the river. There's two launches. We've got a launch just right here to the left behind us. Behind this house with a red barn there's a big boat launch and access to the water, and then down where I just left there's a nice boat launch and access to the water. That's a beautiful property, that place with the red roof. Just met this lady down at the park. She had her doggy down there for a swim. Her and Abby, they never played together, because I don't just go and take her to meet whoever, whatever with their dogs. But they got to kind of, I think she was more or less training him, to be honest with you. She was kind of keeping him a little bit away, doing his own thing, giving him his treats. He's, I think, a young black lab, so it made a little bit of sense. And going through the training and stuff that we did with Abby, we understood it, and kind of, it's what I took it to be when I seen how she was behaving with the dog, was that he was probably learning to be non-reactive, and that just because you see people don't mean you get to meet them. Oh my goodness, the asphalt coming off. All that patch asphalt's just clicking to my tires. I gotta get out of that. I'm gonna get, like, it's throwing it right up. It's coming down on top of my Jeep. I can hear it. It's like raining asphalt because of the front tires. Oh my. It was a nice little spot for me and Abby to stop. I didn't let her go in the water, but lots of stuff to sniff around. What I thought was going to be a nice little drive, I would say is going to be a, I don't know what I'd want to call it. Drive-through construction zone, I guess is what we'll call it. Title to the new video: driving through an extra long construction zone while I'm currently tongue-tied. Nice wood carving of a big rainbow trout. I'd say they either got stock ponds or it's a trout farm. I remember way back when I was a little kid, my grandfather used to have a small trout farm over in Hillsbury on the Fundy Shore. Used to have speckled trout and tried to raise rainbow trout, but I don't know how successful they really was of it. They did pretty good in growing when they got them out in the brackish water in like the Annapolis Basin, but I think it was a far-fetched dream, to be honest with you, at that time. But it was nice because I used to be able to go down there, and I had a little remote control fire boat that I think they got it from like Kmart or Zellers when I was little. And you used to be able to push a button and it would fire water out the water cannon up on the bow. And men would come and they would fish and they'd throw out some feed and stuff and get the water boiling or whatever and cast out into it and have, you know, like trout food on their hooks and stuff. I'd send out my little remote control boat and I'd hit the little water cannon and it would sprinkle, and when I don't know how I figured it out. I must have just figured it out that when I was spraying the cannon, the fish would jump for it. They was trained and fed, so they thought that the water cannon hitting the water, it looked like the feed when you tossed it. And so I'd cast my line out with a bobber, and then I'd come and give it a little shot with the water cannon. And the men and stuff, they couldn't believe it. As soon as I'd shoot that water cannon, boom, the bobber would go under. And I think there were even some bets being made that, like, you know, yeah, how much you want to bet my young feller here will land one before you do, and fellers would get, you know, oh, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to get outfished by a little kid. And then then I'd come out and I was almost like a pool shark. I'd come out with the little cannon and the little remote control boat, throw the line out, squirt, squirt, boom. Thinking about it now, it just kind of got me Yeah, it's hard not to laugh at, because being the age of some of those men, being the age now, I'm the age of some of those men, and I know how I would have done the same thing if my little nephew put me to shame. It was too comical to come back at it. Well, that venture didn't really last a whole long time. Just enough to be a kind of a fun little memory in my years gone by in childhood, but it's not there no more, and the ponds have all filled in with sediment, and the grass has grown up through them, and I don't even think the little spot where we have I don't even think you can get down into where the old truck farm used to be now. It's all just a gone thing of the past, and it really wasn't a fruitful venture. It's really making me notice how much more pine they have than we have over in our forests in Nova Scotia. We have some pine going up along the back spine of Nova Scotia, and a fair bit in Cape Breton, I believe, but through the valley, through like the Annapolis Valley and some of the coastal areas, like there's just not a lot of it. I think a lot of it's been cleared out. But when you get a few miles inland on both coasts, it seems to be kind of up along the spine of Nova Scotia, up on what would be considered the South Mountain. South Mountain in some places, and more of an elevated plateau in others. Guy's got a nice batch of arborvitaes in his front yard. Those cedar tree hedges. I love cedar trees. We've got quite a few arborvitaes in the backyard. My grandfather, my mother said that was his favorite. That was his favorite tree, was a cedar tree. Just the pattern of the leaves, or what was considered to be the leaves, the foliage up in the greenery. It just makes kind of a neat fan. I like watching the tops on them grow. I really pull a lot of enjoyment out of my garden. I never really thought that I would growing up. You never know who you're going to grow into. But that's one of the things that I think brought me a lot of peace after I left fishing, was having my garden to go and fall back on and into. And with the passing of our last dog, our 14-year-old, I kind of I took it upon myself to do a little project to give me a little reminder of him every time I pull in. Because he was always in my front window. He was in our front window every time me or the wife pulled into the yard, and he always had that big smile on that kind of lit the whole yard up. So when he passed, and I was kind of going through some stuff and not feeling the best, and quite down on myself and quite down on that whole situation, I'm really glad I had that to fall into, and I took what I had learned and what my mom and other people would share with me, and I created two, what I like to call my memorial gardens for him. And now whenever I pull into the yard, I got two little gardens that kind of light you up the same way that his smile used to. Instead of pulling into a lonely looking front yard, I had to do something. I'm glad I did it. Every day that I pull in the yard, I always think of him. And it's nice because before that, I'd kind of pull into the yard and I'd see just Cooper sitting in the window waiting for us, and it was kind of a heartbreak. Now at least it's kind of, he's still kind of there waiting for us whenever we pull in the yard. And after that, I really kind of got into gardening. I got into the flowers and the splitting some of my plants and taking some plants from my mother's garden. And I think that was the real deciding, like the real driving factor behind some of it was my mother she has a pretty aggressive form of arthritis, and she can't do a lot of that she used to, and her garden is massive. It's way too big for what I could even undertake and take care of. Just because I can't, like I have trouble being on my knees or doing a lot of anything bent over. Yeah, the knees, the hips, and the back, it cuts down on a lot that you can do. The amount that you can do. You never really want to cut everything out, but you got to make it a healthy medium. And when she started scaling back her garden and stuff, I kind of asked, I was like, what are you doing? And she was, well, some of the plants are going to get taken to the cabin, and some of them are going to get just kind of taken away. And I really couldn't, I don't know. I couldn't let a lot of those plants and bushes and flowers that I had looked at and grown up with, and I don't know, like, whenever I'd tell people where it was, I'd always tell them about Mom's Gardens, and if you're in the right spot, you'll see the gardens. If that lets you know how much, like, how beautiful they were and how much they, I don't know, it's kind of, they were like a part of her, so. We started transplanting a lot of the herb bushes and a lot of her garden out to our house. And that's kind of what kicked it off. Kind of forced me to learn. And where they were my mother's plants from her garden, I didn't want to do it. Like, I didn't have the luxury of saying, well, if they don't take, then we'll go to Walmart or Canadian Tire or Home Depot and buy another plant. Like, yes, I could go and buy the species, but that's not going to be my mother's plant. And anybody that has done this, they know what I'm talking about. So it forced me to kind of research some stuff and kind of deep dive into it, get an understanding of the dedication and the babysitting and stuff like that. And I took peace in planting and organizing it, and the early morning and late evening watering to kind of build the roots back up and stuff. Like, it all kind of, at the time, it was what I needed, and it really pulled me in, because it really eased that time that I was going through where my future was really uncertain of whether I was going to be able to keep fishing or what was going to take place. And then when everything took place, it was a break for my mind from, you know, I'm from generations of fishermen, and when I fished, it felt like I was where I belonged. And for a long time, it felt like I didn't belong anywheres. I didn't agree with a lot of how the legal system works, and I was a person that I needed to distance myself from that profession, because I was the type of person that I couldn't leave that job at the office and come home. I brought the job with me, literally. I brought case files home with me and couldn't stop. And fishing was a different beast. You had to come home, and you kind of, when you were off the boat, that part of it was done. You couldn't do nothing about the gear that you would put wherever you would put. It was no good to go out and play with it or whatever. You know, you had to be at peace with your decisions that you made that day. Once you got home, the only thing you had to worry about was tending the boat, making sure that there wasn't anything that was catastrophic happening to that, or, you know, keeping up with the maintenance and stuff was almost similar to the gardening. It was, every now and then, some of the stuff needs a few things. So looking back at it, I can really see how gardening, it really kind of did fill this hole that, or this cavern that was left in my soul. And you probably understand a little more now why a lot of my videos that I shoot, I try to be near the water. I like to stop into some of the old wharves and stuff like that, and kind of see what the current situation is on some things and how some things are progressing or not progressing or whatever. But Somebody's definitely out on a nice Sunday drive. They're going 35. Now they've realized there's a couple people behind them. They've got a string of cars built up here now, but it always amazes me when you come across somebody and they're just in the middle of nowhere, just sauntering along 30, 40 clicks in an 80 zone, and sadly the wrong person comes up behind them and it's gonna be a smack. Much like I seen on the Highway 101 in Nova Scotia last week. I still don't got that out of my mind. I'll tell you, I don't like it when I see construction signs right now, 'cause I get quite nervous sitting in construction after last week. I've never seen a vehicle get lifted clear of the ground. When it get hit by, a van got hit from the rear end, and it was the vehicle directly behind me at a construction site. And I've never seen anything like that. I still kind of wonder how the people that were in the vehicle made out. It was an older couple, and I ended up calling 911 for the couple, because they said that people come running up from behind and said that the lady was not doing very well. So I think about that every now and then, especially when I'm sitting at one of those construction sites, just kind of to say that I'm on edge isn't, like, it's an understatement. We're about 6 minutes outside of Oromocto right now. Oh, that tree is beautiful. 2 of them. Wow. What a beautiful day to be out just roaming the countryside. See a big bridge in the distance. you, but I kind of want to go over that. What do we think? Might just have to go over that. Another tank. That's cool. I've never been that close to a tank. Well, that's neat. Part of me wishes that stuff just never even ever had to exist. Beautiful building there. People down there, the big Bernese. Walking their big teddy bear. It's funny because that's pretty much what they are. They're a great big teddy bear. had time, but I'm not going to throw Abby into the back there by giving a little too much aggressive gas, so you kind of got to be conscious of when you got your pet in the back, not to just throw them around because you think you can make it in front of a car. Nice little spot. Oromocto High School. And again, I found my way to a nice little park down by the river, where I think me and Abby's just gonna have a little. Actually, I'm not gonna park here. This might be apartment parking, to be honest with you. You never really know in some of these places, but where we're close to it, I would make the assumption that it's for apartments. So we're going to get out and stretch our legs a little bit, have a little walk. So we've kind of come across a nice little park. I mean, you got quite nice views. Abby's trying to wrap herself around the pole here now. I'm gonna see if I can't get down on that dock. But if not, I mean, I think it's for a sailing club, or probably, it kind of looks like a rowing, like where they dock the rowboat. They're like competitive rowing. Oh, sweet. Okay. Yeah, we're not going in the water, honey girl. What a beautiful little spot to have in your backyard. Right in the back of Oromocto. Oh, sweetie. People have been fishing there. casting out and hitting whatever's underneath that floating dock, I imagine. Old military cannon. They must just be putting this out today, or kind of in the process, because it looks like they're it seems like that boat that's coming down outside this dock there, it looks like they're actually bringing in sections of the dock. So I would say they're probably setting all this up these last couple days and are in the process of it now. So I don't think me and Abby will be going down onto there. But what a day, what a spot. Again. The old gristmill wheel. You can find these kind of dotted all over the countryside. There's one outside of Bridgetown in a guy's yard. Now gone, but located in what is now part of the training area for Canadian Forces Base Gagetown. To commemorate a bygone era of wheel, was presented by the maintenance troop of the Royal Canadian Dragons as a reminder of its happy association with the town of Oromocto. 15th of August 1970. Centennial Review, the Black Watch, Royal Highland Regime of Canada.
Yeah, but probably just a cooler would keep it packed.
A lot of history.